So we clearly have, they're trying to disrupt the Christian demonstration here by shutting off their loudspeaker, drowning them out with the drums.
We are the lions. We will not be intimidated by hyenas. You see, this is the problem. I actually don't mind the music, thank you. Usually people don't go extra mile and they don't sing and drum for my preaching. Thank you so much. We will not be intimidated by evil. We will not bow down because some people think that we should. That's what the government is doing. The government says to you and me, church is non-essential, shut your door, you are not wanted or needed in the country. Those people over there, drumming, doing the same thing, they're saying to you and me, we don't want you here. This is our land. No, this is my land. This is my country. I am a Canadian citizen. I came here legally. I came here because I wanted to start a new life. This is my land.
This fucking country is so fucking racist.
What happened? Tell us.
They said.
Tell us. Tell us.
We want to hear too.
What happened?
Tell us.
Fuck Canada.
Fuck Canada.
Fuck Canada.
Privileged settlers.
So clearly the event has seen some disruptions right now. There's some climate change activists who have shown up here and are attempting to drown out the Christian church protesters. This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. We're here at the BC Supreme Court today to talk to some pastors who are on the front line of the battle for the right to have church. So we're going to talk to them today. Let's see what they have to say. Tell us your name and also why is church essential?
My name is Tobias Thiessen. I'm from Steinbach, Manitoba. And for me as a Christian, church is extremely essential. The gathering together, which they're trying to prohibit now, is an overreach. It's governments reaching into God's authority and prohibiting us that way. So to me, it is vitally important to gather together as believers to worship God.
Artur Pawlowski, A-R-T-U-R, last name P-A-W-L-O-W-S-K-I. Why church is essential? Because it's essential. It's essential to worship the Creator of heavens and the earth. He has given us everything. He has given us the creation. He has given us life, and we have to worship Him. We have to be able to come together and say, thank you, God, for allowing us to live, for creating us, for giving us this beautiful earth that we call home. So that's essential. It's essential because we are human beings and we have been created to be together, to come and worship God and to share and to pray for each other, to spend time with each other. That's what family do.
Well, you know, last year we had over 1,700 overdoses, and those precious lives probably needed someone to talk to. And when you don't have churches open, you lose out on a lot of care and support. And so I think that it's so unfair that Walmart's open, Costco's open. At one point, Bonnie Henry's trying to say, oh, you can have, 50 cars in your parking lot. 50 cars? I go to Costco, there's 300 cars. And how is this fair? Like, the inequity is really kind of, it's a very interesting thing going on right now. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think Bonnie Henry's a spiritual person. I don't think she's going to church or nothing. So clearly she doesn't understand the importance of it, what it gives to a person's life. So we're here to fight that. It's got to stop.
How have you been dealing with this with your congregation? What have been your strategies in navigating this new space?
Well, we've obviously not been listening to those mandates and bylaws. We've been staying open. We've been doing drive-ins for a few months, gone back inside now because of the harsh winters in Manitoba. but we've gotten a lot of tickets, and they're still on our trail.
Well, we've never shut down, and we do not follow those restrictions because those restrictions are against God and state-given rights. I do follow the Canadian Charter Rights and Freedoms, and those are the fundamental freedoms guaranteed under our charter. So I do follow them. I do not follow temporary restrictions because they're against the law. Also, the Bible is very clear, do not forsake the gathering of the saints. We are to come together, we are to pray for each other, we are to anoint each other with oil and pray for the sick. And you know, we have to stand up for our congregants. And as a shepherd, as a pastor, I cannot obey laws that are hurting people, destroying lives, and turning people against each other. And the children that are committing suicides, the depression, the suicidal rate, the alcoholism, the drug addictions, we cannot follow those types of orders that are hurting society.
So you've disobeyed those orders, and it has resulted in a number of tickets and fines. Can you tell us about what that process has been like, and how much are we talking about dollar-wise?
Well, dollar-wise, we don't know because most of them are summons, mandatory court appearances. I got 23 with my brother David. And how deal with them? Well, the police show up. They usually come to my house. They deliver the tickets. They use intimidation. At our Christmas festival, when the federal, provincial, and municipal government said that they're shutting down Christmas, we ask Calgarians to come and have the biggest Christmas street celebration in the country, and we had over 100 police officers, 52 police cars, and we did it. We fed the poor, we worshiped God. So they gave us tickets. That's okay, we will deal with the tickets afterwards. But I don't understand the pastors and the church leaders. Why would you close the church while God says do not? Why would you close your church while people are hurting? Why would you close the church just because the government says so? I grew up under communist dictatorship, and according to the government, God did not exist. And they were hunting, harassing, intimidating, and imprisoning people that believed in God. So should we obey them as well? Should we obey the Nazi? Should we obey Adolf Hitler's wannabe? I don't think so.
And you've actually spent a little bit of jail time over this. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Well, I was arrested multiple times for preaching the gospel and feeding the poor. Usually they release me before the 24 hours, and they have to charge me with something. And of course, those are bogus charges against the Constitution, and I would beat them up. I got about 300 tickets so far, and over 10 arrests. Many times I was detained, about 100 court cases, and yet I'm still standing. The BC government announced that the church services are illegal, so we asked the people to come and let's have a church right on the steps of their doors. I mean, who those people think they are?
Can you tell us about the drive-in ministry? And for people who have maybe never heard of that, how does that work, and what was the government's response to you doing that?
So back in November in Manitoba, even drive-in church was illegal. I don't know. People were allowed to park in parking lots in Costco, Walmart, Superstore, any of those places, but for some reason, the virus appeared to have been really alive at church parking lots. So they prohibited even that. So what we've been doing is we've done that for a few months to where people pulled into the church parking lot. We had an outdoor stage, and we had FM transmission to where people could tune to a station in their car and listen to and watch through their windows the service.
It's been so amazing because right here in the heart of Vancouver, you know, Pastor Tobias traveled from Manitoba to come here. Why? Because they faced police, you know, trying to stop them from just having a church service on in their parking lot. They were prevented from parking and having church by the police blocking their parking lot.
Now, they've ticketed you for these things. How much money are we talking in fines that you're dealing with here?
Oh, I want to say right now it's probably between 30 and 40,000. I don't know the exact number because I haven't kept track, but I myself have gotten 7 personal tickets, and we got 7 handed to the church as well.
Now, there are some pastors out there who feel, governments are appointed by God, therefore we must obey the health officials, and some are also on the fence about that, and they're not too sure. Do you have any words of advice for any pastors out there who are kind of on the fence and they realize they need to be a shepherd to their scattered flock right now, but they're not sure if they should be violating the rules? Any words of advice?
My word of advice would be that Romans chapter 13 talks about submitting to the government, and it says that governments are a terror to evil works, not to good works. So when the government turns around and terrorizes Christians for going to church, they have now violated basically their contract with us. And so I would say, in the words of Scripture, render to Caesar or to the government what is due to the government, like pay your taxes, submit where you can, but render also to God what is due to Him. Obviously, our devotion, our worship is due to God, and the government can't mandate that. They're stepping outside of their jurisdiction. We know authority is given by God, but they have to abide in their jurisdiction. Right now, the government is trying to operate in God's jurisdiction.
Well, first of all, I think they did not read the Bible, because in the Bible it says clearly that you have appointed leaders that I do not approve and the princes that I do not want. Not everyone in power is from God. So that's say, if you are to obey every authority, then pastors you would obey Adolf Hitler because he was democratically elected, and according to him everything he did was lawful, right? Murdering of the Jews and the Poles and pillaging and raping and stealing from the whole world. Would you obey that order? Stalin, he was a leader of the country and he said there is no God. Would you obey him as well? And you say, well, that's too extreme. No, it's not. Because dictators, they don't just pop up from the sky. It's a process. It takes time for those people to get hold of a dictatorship. I say to you, our job, Book of Acts, chapter 4, is you judge for yourself whom we are to obey, people or God. Chapter 5 is very clear. We must obey God rather than men. When a man is contradicting the law of God, you are not to obey that man. You are to obey God always and every time. So why would you obey the orders of people, and they're just people, they're going to die, turn into dust, and not obey the orders of God? It's beyond me.
We have pastors getting $10 million fines actually out in Ontario. Pastor Pulowski here, over 300 fines that he's gotten. He feeds the poor and he refuses to stop. We have pastors getting a lot of persecution because they believe that church is an essential service, they need to open. Then we have the other side. We have ridiculous clergymen like Michael Corrin. Just absolutely cannot understand him at all. He's furious at the church. He's mocking James Coates. He mocks James Coates' wife. James Coates is in prison, for anyone that doesn't know this. Pastor James Coates said, no, I'll have to go to jail, if you tell me that I can't marry, bury, or hold a service. I was born to do this, and we know COVID is an important thing we've all faced this year, but now that the data's out, now that we all kind of know what we're dealing with, we know that there are certain things we can do, actually, and if you're going to fill the, Cactus Club restaurants, then you better be able to fill church. There's no facts showing that the church has caused an extensive amount of COVID spread. Do people get COVID that are sometimes in church? They quarantine, they get over it, and they move on like anybody else? I suppose so. But churches have not been spreading. I have been at freedom rallies all summer long. I've been hugging, kissing, close, not social distancing, not wearing masks, and virtually no one from anyone I know from the freedom movement has had COVID. So it's a bunch of malarkey.
There's a little bit of a clash for the space right now, and I think the Christian Church's Essential protesters, activists have kind of backed off to let these guys have their space, right, and then are hopefully going to get back at it.
No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Turn this shit off right now. That's very rude what you guys did. We were singing and you guys
So we clearly have, they're trying to disrupt the Christian demonstration here by shutting off their loudspeaker, drowning them out with the drums.
He's not allowed to touch my equipment.
Is this your equipment?
Yes.
Okay.
And he shut it down and he is threatening to throw it to the ground. Deal with the aggressor. He's threatening us physically and he touched our equipment.
Just as much right to be here as you guys do.
They're trying to save ceremony because they stole that from us. Same way they try to steal our land from us.
You don't want to be filmed? Okay then.
We're going to do what we came to do. We're going to worship the Creator of heavens and the earth. We're going to lift our voices. We will not be silent. Our God is worthy to be praised. Our God is worthy to be worshipped. We came here to worship God, the Creator of heavens and the earth. Church, let's do what we came to do. Thank you for the officers that are protecting and keeping the peace. I pray, Father, for the native people. I don't understand why they're so angry. I don't understand why they have to hate. Hate is such a big burden. I, Father, choose to love. I choose to love them. Father, I choose to forgive. We have a big enemy, and the enemy is not another human being. An enemy is the devil. He is the wicked one. He is the evil one.
As you can see, some of the climate change activists have overtaken this protest here, and they've kind of drowned out some of the Christian Church's Essential protesters, and even got aggressive with them. So the Christian street preachers have kind of backed off, and they're letting them have their rally for now. We'll see if we get the space back.
The indigenous community is here, and they're upset because somebody was given 90 days, I think, for blocking the pipeline, and so they're in angst about that. So they were a little bit difficult. I was surprised at the hatred, actually, towards just us being Canadians. Like I said, because they didn't want us to share any of the space, and I said, well, these are, a Canadian courthouse, and we're here to share some space. Oh yeah, no, this is the unceded territory. And I said, well, this is my courthouse that my tax dollars is actually paying for, and we're here to protest something too. Is there a way that we could all do this together? And there was a fair bit of difficulty, a lot of, that there's a lot of racism and stuff like that going on. I explained one of my dearest friends in the world is actually a First Nations guy. So this is not about racism. It's just about sharing our God-given country of Canada. So it's been a bit difficult. They've been challenging today.
Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on inside here today. What's the case all about, and what do you hope to see come of this?
Well, so here we have 3 churches basically that have said enough is enough, and they have decided to stand. And so we have lawyers that are fighting hard for why church is an essential service. And thank goodness that the judge, they tried to get it thrown out. The Attorney General just wanted it dismissed. Like this is, like COVID rules. I mean, COVID has become the supreme law of the land. And the judge has refused to dismiss this, refused to put an injunction, from them doing their church services a week and a half ago, and now here they are. Their cases are being heard. Justice is at least being given opportunity, and we're hoping for something great. we'll see what happens. What's happening in Canada right now is not right, and it's much bigger than all of us. And if we don't stick together, if we don't fight, if we don't stand up for what's right, I fear to see what's coming down the pike.
So where are you located, and where can people find you maybe online if they're just hearing about your church now and they want to come join?
So we're located in Steinbach, Manitoba. We have a church website, thechurchofgod.net. And if people want to personally reach out to me, they can find me on Facebook at Tobias Thiessen, and also email at tobiasthiessen@churchofgod.net.
Well, I'm a pastor in Calgary. I run an organization that is called Street Church, and it's all over the world right now. And I also organize something that is very dear to my heart, March for Jesus. If you would like to be part of that, if you would like to help, my email is art@streetchurch.ca, art@streetchurch.ca. My YouTube channel, Artur Pawlowski TV. Google my name and it will lead you to the right places. The website, www.streetchurch.ca. If you can help and stand up, rise up. It's our time to shine.
Well, there were some minor clashes between the two sides, but both sides remained generally respectful. And now the native climate change activists are on the side, and the street preachers, church's essential pastors who came in here are on the other side doing what they came here to do. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Do you think church is essential? Do you think the Supreme Court should be overruling Dr. Bonnie Henry's ruling here and Adrian Dicks? Or do you think they should remain locked down, considering it's the only thing in all of British Columbia that's on lockdown right now? Seems to me that it's spiritual warfare. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you appreciate our efforts to bring you this information, don't forget to click the thumbs up button, share this video, and check the links in the description to find out how you can support our efforts at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth.
God is opening up some seas for us even now. God is giving some boldness and liberty to religious leaders to open up their churches. And you know, the enemy is saying, I will pursue. Court cases right now, they're saying, we will pursue, we will overtake them, and we will shut the churches down. You know, God will take care of it. God will take care of it just like He did of the Egyptians. God is taking care of His people. We all don't need to fear. We don't need to be distressed. We don't need to panic. We just need to rest assured in the living God, knowing that He will take care of His people as long as we do our part. As long as we will, with boldness and liberty and the power of God, fulfill His calling on our lives, and that is to worship Him like the Bible commands us to. God will take care of the rest, and He will lead His people to victory. And I'm so encouraged to be on the right side of all of this.